Cyber Threat Brief for March 13, 2026. Google patches 2 Chrome 0 days actively exploited in the wild. VM releases emergency fixes for 7 critical RCE flaws in backup and replication that attackers will reverse engineer immediately. CISA confirms N8N workflow automation platform is under active attack, and TELUS Digital reports a breach affecting nearly 1 petabyte of BPO customer data. Here's the full breakdown of today's top security stories. Daily Cyber Threat Brief. March 13, 2026. Next section, Critical Alerts. Google Chrome 0 days, CVE 2026-3909, CVE 2026-3910. Google patched 2 high-severity Chrome vulnerabilities exploited in 0-day attacks. CVE 2026-3909 is an out-of-bounds write in Skia, the graphics library, allowing browser crashes or code execution, is an inappropriate implementation bug in the V8 JavaScript engine. Google discovered both flaws and rolled out fixes for Windows 146.0.7680.75, Mac OS 146.0.7680.76, and Linux 146.0.7680.75. Within 2 days of reporting, these are the second and third Chrome 0 days exploited this year. Following, now on CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CEV, known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, with a March 10 due date, EPS, the exploit prediction scoring system, 33rd percentile, and 2 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action: update Chrome immediately. Check Chrome //settings/help for automatic updates. Third 0 day this year means active exploitation campaigns targeting Chrome users. Sources: Bleeping Computer, The Hacker News. CISA CEV, N8N workflow platform, CVE 2025-68613. CISA confirmed active exploitation of a 9 CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, remote code execution vulnerability in N8N workflow automation platform, CVE 2025-68613. EPS 99th percentile allows authenticated attackers to inject payloads into expressions that execute without validation. Successful exploitation leads to full instance compromise, unauthorized data access, workflow modification, and system-level code execution. First disclosed in December, Resecurity reported 103,000 of 230,000 active users were vulnerable. CISA set a March 25 deadline for federal agencies. The N8N team has faced weeks of vulnerability disclosures, including 10, 0 CVSS, no auth required, and 9, 4 CVSS, and 2 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action: update to N8NV 1.122, 0 or later immediately. Federal deadline is March 25, but active exploitation means patch now. Low-privileged accounts can fully compromise instances. Source: The Register. Fortinet vulnerabilities in Siemens RuggedCom, CVE 2026-24858. Siemens RuggedCom APE 1808 devices are affected by Fortinet Fort-IO.S. Vulnerabilities, including CVE 2026-24858, CISA KEV due January 30, EPS 86th percentile, an authentication bypass in FortiAnalyzer and FortiManager. Additional flaws include HTTP request smuggling, allowing unlogged firewall policy bypass, and format string vulnerability, enabling code execution by authenticated admins. Siemens recommends updating FortiGate NGFW to v7.4. 10 or later, and contacting support for OTA patches, and 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action: update FortiGate NGFW to v7.4. 10. Critical infrastructure sectors, manufacturing, energy, transportation should prioritize. 1CVE or Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, already on CISA KEV with expired deadline. Source: CISA ICS, Industrial Control Systems. Next section, Ransomware Claims Last 48H. 4 claims tracked across 3 groups in the last 48 hours. Group Victim Sector Country links Keller Polska Construction / Geotechnical Poland, links Africa Insurance Africa Loki Credit Freedom and Restoration Financial Services, U.S. Exidium Fanon CAD Government / Appraisal District, U.S. Texas. Exidium claims 400 gigabytes exfiltrated from Fanon Central Appraisal District, Texas. These are unverified claims from ransomware leak sites. Next section, Ransomware and Extortion. AI-generated Slopoly malware in interlock attacks. IBM X-Force disclosed Slopoly, an AI-generated PowerShell backdoor deployed by financially motivated threat actor Hive 0163 in interlock ransomware attacks. Slopoly shows strong indicators of LLM-assisted development, including extensive comments, structured logging, error handling, and clearly named variables. The malware maintains persistence via a scheduled task, runtime broker, beacons heartbeat messages every 30 seconds, polls for commands every 50 seconds, and executes them via CMD. EXE. Attack chains start with click-fix social engineering, deploying Node Snake and interlock RAT before ransomware. While technically unsophisticated, Slopoly demonstrates how AI tools accelerate custom malware development for evasion. Action: hunt for scheduled tasks named runtime broker in C /program data /Microsoft /Windows /runtime /. Click-fix campaigns remain a primary initial access vector. Monitor for PowerShell scripts with unusual verbosity in comments and logging. Sources: The Hacker News Bleeping Computer. England Hockey Data Breach. AI Lock Ransomware. England Hockey is investigating a data breach after AI Lock Ransomware gang claimed to steal 129 gigabytes of data and threatened to publish it unless ransom is paid. The organization oversees 800-plus clubs, 150,000 registered players, and 15,000 coaches and officials nationwide. AI Lock emerged in April 2025, uses CHA-20 and NTRU encryption, and employs 72-hour response deadlines with privacy law violations as leverage in negotiations. England Hockey has not confirmed the breach, but is working with external specialists and law enforcement. Action: UK field hockey community should watch for phishing using stolen data. AI Lock is a newer group with aggressive extortion tactics. Source: Bleeping Computer. U.S. charges third digital mint ransomware negotiator. The DOJ charged Angelo Martino, a former digital mint ransomware negotiator, for operating as a Black Cat ALF affiliate while simultaneously negotiating on behalf of victims. 5 victims hired Digital Mint and were assigned Martino, who played both sides and allegedly extorted $75.25 million across 10 attacks. Victims included a nonprofit, $26.8 M ransom paid, and a financial services firm, $25.7 M paid. Martino is co-conspirator 1 from the October 2025 indictment of Kevin Tyler Martin, also Digital Mint, and Ryan Goldberg, Signia. Both pleaded guilty and face April sentencing. Digital Mint fired Martino in April 2025 and has cooperated with law enforcement. Action: ransomware negotiation firms require strict insider risk controls. Negotiators with both victim and attacker access create catastrophic conflicts of interest. Sources: Bleeping Computer Cyberscoop. TELUS Digital Breach, Shiny Hunters, 1 petabyte claimed. Canadian BPO giant TELUS Digital confirmed a breach after Shiny Hunters claimed to steal nearly 1 petabyte of data in a multi-month attack. Threat actors discovered Google Cloud Platform credentials in data stolen during the Salesloft Drift breach and used them to access TELUS BigQuery instances. They then used the Trufflehog tool to pivot across systems. Shiny Hunters claims the breach impacts 28 well-known BPO customers, names withheld. with data including customer support tickets, call records, and authentication credentials. BPO providers are attractive targets because one breach exposes data from multiple downstream companies. Action: organizations using TELUS Digital for BPO should request breach notifications. The Salesloft Drift supply chain breach continues rippling through victim credentials. Cloud credential sprawl in support tickets is a critical attack vector. Sources: bleeping computer data breaches. Net. Next section: business and infrastructure threats. VM backup and replication critical RCE flaws. 7 CVEs. VM patched 7 vulnerabilities in backup and replication, including 4 critical RCE flaws allowing low-privileged domain users to execute remote code on backup servers. CVE 2026-21666 and all 9 CVSS allow authenticated domain users to perform RCE. 9 CVSS allows a backup viewer to gain RCE as the Postgres user. Affected versions: 12.3.2.4165 and earlier v12 builds. Fixed in v12.3.2.4465 and v13.0.1.2067. VM warned that attackers will reverse engineer patches to exploit unpatched systems. VBR servers are heavily targeted by ransomware gangs, Fin7, Cuba, Frag, Akira, Fog, because they enable lateral movement, simplify data theft, and allow attackers to delete backups. And 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action: update to v12.3.2.4465 or v13.0.1.2067 immediately. VM is used by 74% of Global 2000 and 82% of Fortune 500 companies. Ransomware operators will weaponize these CVEs within days of patch analysis. Low-complexity attacks require only domain user credentials. Sources: The Hacker News bleeping computer. SOX Escort residential proxy botnet takedown US and European law enforcement. Operation Lightning. Seized SOX Escort, a residential proxy service that enslaved 369,000 IP addresses across 163 countries since 2020. The service was powered by the Avrekin malware, disclosed by Lumen Black Lotus Labs in July 2023, which infected Soho routers via RCE and command injection vulnerabilities. SOX Escort sold proxy access, $15/month for 30 IPs, $200/month for 500 IPs, primarily to ransomware operators, DDoS attackers, and CSAM distributors. Customers defrauded victims of $1 plus cryptocurrency, $700 manufacturing, and $100 military star cards. Authorities seized 34 domains, 23 servers, and froze $3.5 in cryptocurrency. Avrekin targets 1,200 device models from Cisco, D-Link, Hikvision, Mikrotik, Netgear, TP-Link, and Zyxel. Action: Soho routers require firmware updates and vulnerability management. FBI advisory provides Avrekin detection and removal guidance. Residential proxy networks are infrastructure for cybercrime ecosystems. Source: The Hacker News. Iranian wiper attacks targeting Intune, Handala hack. Unit 42 warned of increased wiper attack risk from Iranian threat group Handala hack. Akka Void Manticore, Cobalt Mystique, Storm 1084/Storm 842, assessed to be in Moaz. Ministry of Intelligence and Security, Front. Attacks exploit identity through phishing and administrative access via Microsoft Intune. Israel's National Cyber Directorate reported multiple cases where attackers deleted servers and workstations using legitimate corporate user credentials. Unit 42 recommends eliminating standing privileges, implementing JIT access via Entra PIM, hardening Entra ID admin accounts, cloud-only accounts, break glass access, multi-administrator approval, and restricting mass wipe capabilities to emergency accounts only. Action: review Intune administrator permissions. Implement Entra ID PIM with M. F. A. multi-factor authentication, and approval workflows. Standing admin privileges are the top risk in identity attacks. Cloud-native admin accounts prevent lateral movement from on-prem Active Directory. Source: Unit 42, Palo Alto. SEO poisoning distributes fake VPN clients. Storm 2561. Microsoft Defender experts identified a credential theft campaign using SEO poisoning to distribute fake VPN clients signed with legitimate certificates. Storm 2561, active since May 2025, redirects users searching for enterprise VPN software. Pulse Secure, Fortinet, Ivanti to malicious GitHub repositories hosting Trojanized MSI installers. The malware installs Pulse exe and drops malicious DLLs, DWMAPI, DLL Inspector, DLL that harvest VPN credentials via DLL, Dynamic Link Library, side loading. Malware was digitally signed by Taiyuan Lihuanir Information Technology Co., Limited. Certificate now revoked. Domains observed. VPNFortinet.com, IvantiVPN.org. Action: block domains VPNFortinet.com and IvantiVPN.org. Hunt for MSI installers with side-loaded DWMAPI, DLL and Inspector. DLL in %common files %\pulse secure. SEO poisoning targets users actively searching for enterprise software. Source: Microsoft Security Blog. Next section: Windows/AD security. SMB, small and medium business, use after free vulnerability, CVE 2026-3805. Microsoft published CVE 2026-3805, a use after free vulnerability in SMB connection reuse. Details are minimal, EPS 12th percentile. Windows environments should monitor for patches in upcoming Patch Tuesday. Action: monitor MSRC for patch release. SMB vulnerabilities have critical impact in Windows/AD environments. Source: MSRC Security Update Guide. Microsoft Defender Email Security Benchmarking. Microsoft published Q1 2026 email security benchmarking data, showing Defender removes 70.8% of malicious email post-delivery via zero-hour auto-purge. ICE's vendors, Darktrace, KnowB4, Cisco, Viper, provide incremental filtering of 13.7% for marketing/bulk email, but only 0.29% for spam and 0.24% for malicious messages, down from 1.65% and 0.5% in prior quarter. For malicious messages reaching the inbox, Defender handles 70.8% of post-delivery remediation, with ICE's contributing 29.2%. SEG vendors missed more high-severity threats than Defender. Action: post-delivery remediation is critical. ICE's layering provides bulk email filtering but minimal malicious email uplift. Evaluate email security stack against actual threat detection, not just marketing claims. Source: Microsoft Security Blog. Next section: General Security News. Phishing campaigns weaponize SOC workload. IDOS. Security researchers documented informational denial of service. IDOS. Attacks where phishing campaigns flood SOCs with low-quality reports to hide targeted spear phishing. 66% of SOC teams cannot keep up with incoming alerts. During high-volume periods, analysts spend less time per submission, investigation depth decreases, and decision quality drops. Red team exercises confirm adversaries time commodity phishing waves to coincide with spear phishing targeting critical users. The SOC queue becomes the attack surface. Action: SOC phishing triage requires tiered analysis. High-volume periods need automated pre-filtering and prioritization based on sender reputation, recipient role, and content risk scoring. Alert fatigue is an exploitable weakness. Source: The Hacker News. React-based phishing via email.js Sans, ISC, documented a phishing campaign using a React-based credential harvesting page hosted on Cloudflare Workers. The fake Dropbox transfer page dynamically constructs UI via JavaScript main. 90 EA1B0 JS and exfiltrates credentials via email JS, legitimate email service. Query string included Cyrillic characters, Russian word for program, suggesting Russian-speaking threat actors. Lure quality was low, sender spoofed recipient's own email address, but the credential collection mechanism was sophisticated. Action: Cloudflare workers' domains remain convenient hosting for short-lived phishing infrastructure. React-based phishing kits are becoming more common. Email JS and similar services enable credential exfiltration without attacker-controlled servers. Source: Sans ISK. OAuth consent abuse and Signal/WhatsApp account takeovers. Wiz warned of malicious OAuth applications exploiting consent fatigue to gain access to files and emails by impersonating brands, Adobe, DocuSign, OneDrive. Once users click Accept, attackers receive access tokens without knowing passwords. Separately, Dutch and German intelligence services warned of Russian hackers targeting Signal and WhatsApp accounts of government officials, journalists, and military personnel by masquerading as Signal support chatbots to steal verification codes and PINs or exploiting linked devices features. Action: Review OAuth app permissions in M365 and Google Workspace. Educate users on OAuth consent prompts. Signal/WhatsApp users should verify security codes after suspicious activity and avoid sharing verification codes with anyone claiming to be support. Source: The Hacker News. Next section: Patch Priority. Chrome: Update to 146.0.7680.75+, Windows/Linux, or 146.0.7680.76, Mac OS, for CVE 2026-3909 and CVE 2026-3910. Actively exploited 0 days. VM backup and replication. Update to v12.3.2.4465 or v13.0.1.2067 for 7 critical RCE flaws. Ransomware operators target VBR infrastructure. N8N. Update to v1.122. 0 plus for CVE 2025-68613-9. 9 CVSS. Active exploitation. CISA KEV due March 25. Fortinet/Siemens RuggedCom. Update FortiGate NGFW to v7.4. 10 for CVE 2026-24858, CISA KEV, expired deadline, and related HTTP smuggling flaws. Siemens Cities Prime. Update to v4.0. 800 for 23 CVEs in OpenSSL, SQLite, and Node. JS packages, highest EPS. CVE 2025-62522 at 84th percentile. Next section: Vulnerability Disclosures. Train HVAC controllers, CVE 2026-28252, and 4 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Train Tracer SC, SC+, and Concierge Building Automation controllers contain 5 vulnerabilities allowing authentication bypass. CVE 2026-28252, broken crypto, denial of service, memory allocation, sensitive information disclosure, missing authorization, and hard-coded credentials. Train released v6.30. 2313 for Tracer SC Plus and implemented cloud security controls. Affected versions: Tracer SC v4, 4 SB7, Tracer SC Plus and Concierge v6.3, 2310, reported by Clarity, and 4 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action: Update Tracer SC Plus to v6.30, 2313. Building automation systems are critical infrastructure targets. Hard-coded credentials and missing authorization enable full system compromise. Source: CISA IKES. Inductive Automation Ignition, CVE 2025-13913. Ignition SCADA software, 8.3.0, contains a deserialization vulnerability allowing privileged users to execute malicious code by importing specially crafted files. Malware executes with OS application service account permissions. Mitigation for 8. 1. X includes creating dedicated service accounts, restricting file system permissions, and isolating gateways from corporate networks. Reported by Meta, Action, upgrade Ignition from 8. 1. X to 8.3.0 plus. For 8. 1. X systems, follow Ignition Security Hardening Guide Appendix A. Restrict project imports to verified sources. Use separate dev/test/prod environments. Source, CISA IX. Siemens Heliox EV Chargers. CVE 2025-27769. Heliox Flex 180 kW and mobile DC 40 kW EV charging stations contain improper access control, allowing attackers to reach unauthorized services via the charging cable. Siemens released OTA updates. Contact customer support for patches. Action. Apply OTA updates via Siemens customer support. EV charging infrastructure is expanding attack surface as adoption grows. Source, CISA IX. Siemens Simatic S7-1500. CVE 2025-40943. Simatic S7-1500 devices contain a code injection vulnerability, allowing attackers to trick legitimate users into importing specially crafted trace files via the web interface. Siemens released v4.1. 2 fixes for multiple ET200SB and S7-1500 CPU models. Many older models remain unfixed with compensating controls recommended. Action. Update affected Simatic devices to v4.1. 2. For unfixed systems, implement SSA 975644 mitigations. Industrial control systems require defense in depth because patching windows are longer. Source, CISA IX. Next section, Trends and Context. Today's stories highlight the convergence of supply chain risk, credential sprawl, and AI-assisted malware development. The TELUS digital breach demonstrates how credentials in support tickets, Salesloft drift, cascade into multi-petabyte BPO compromises affecting dozens of downstream customers. Sloppily malware shows LLMs accelerating custom tool development for evasion, while SEO poisoning and OAuth consent abuse exploit user trust in search engines and brand impersonation. Backup infrastructure, VM, remains the top ransomware target because one compromise enables data theft, lateral movement, and recovery sabotage across entire networks. That concludes today's cyber threat brief. From Carolina Clear Tech. Stay patched, stay vigilant.